Embark just dropped a massive update for the finals. We're going to go over all the details with the patch notes, the balance changes, as well as even some graphical and performance upgrades. I'll deep dive into those and what those exactly mean. Of course, this update also includes a new store refresh, and on top of that, we got a brand new mode I am very pleased with. We got a ton to talk about. What's up, World of Utopia here, back in with another video. Today we're checking out all things the finals. Okay, so let's just jump into patch 7.6. Now, I would go over Oscar's opening statement on the Discord, but it literally is just referencing the patch notes, and we're going to go over all those anyways, so we might as well skip over that for now. First off, with this update, we got a brand new game mode. This one is being called Super Cash Ball. This one reminds me so much of Griff Ball, and I absolutely love this mode, so I am super pleased with this and really happy they're bringing in these type of modes there. If you haven't seen, basically the objective is to throw a cash ball into the enemy goal. You can even pass to teammates for up to 3 more points. This one's a bit hard to get going in a random match, but definitely with pre-made teams in a private match, which yes, you can play it in a private match, you could certainly rack up the score here. Every time you pass the ball to a teammate, you do rack up an additional point. So if you pass to 1, then you get 2. If you pass to a third player, that's when you can get up to 3. That'll be signified by the UI at the top. The match time is 10 minutes total, but these are in halves, so 2 5-minute halves. Really cool mention here that the ball will still score if it's in the air when the buzzer hits, so there is still time to get those last second scores. There's also this cool thing here, what's called a clutch comeback. If you score in the last 30 seconds, that will give you a plus 30-second overtime. So we'll continue the match there, but if it's tied, the team that reaches the tied score first wins. There's also a little penalty section here. If you step into the enemy goal zone, you'll essentially get glitched, meaning you can't pick up the ball, you can't use your specials, you can't use your gadgets. Be sure you don't go into that zone. There's also 3 main classes like the medium, playmaker, light, striker, and enforcer heavy. These can have customizations with them, so you can actually change their toolkits. You don't have to go with the default one, like the medium gets the Witch Claw, Riot Shield, Goo Grenade, even Jump Pad or Zip Line options. You can swap out any of these here with their toolkit. Although the specialization does stay the same, those are not swappable. There is going to be leaderboard support for this one, and again, I mentioned it is playable in private match. With the Super Cash Ball, we did get a brand new wheel, so you can spin that one here. You'll see we did a little spin here to see if we can get anything good. You'll of course always complete those daily contracts and earn tickets, where you can get a plethora of rewards here. You see we have a full cosmetic outfit, as well as some additional things here that you can go ahead and claim, which does also include 20 prizes. And the duplicate spins will get you a new ticket. You do have to get 3 parts to get a new ticket. And when you do launch the game for the first time, you actually do get a spin. Even without playing, that's how I utilized mine here. Something really cool with this update, they now have a voice customization. So yes, no longer are they tied to specific cosmetics. Well, they are, but now you can also just choose what voice line you want. And if you wanted to get a specific voice line, you just have to buy those cosmetics or buy them in the voice tab. So now you can customize those to get your contestant's voice separate from their face. Of course, if they're Battle Pass voices, you can't buy those. Those are just going to show up there. But again, that is in the Appearance tab under your contestant. When you edit them, you can go here to the Voice tab. And they do mention that the effects like robot voice from the cosmetics will still apply on top of the actual voice. So those will be separate there. You pick your voice, but then the robotic effect or anything on top of that, that's going to coincide with it. Moving on here, we actually did get a DLSS update with the game, which went to version 4.0.2. This actually replaced a preset from J to K. The transformer model has been a thing since the DLSS 4 upgrade. Of course, you can select which preset you want in both the NVIDIA app or even a profile inspector for NVIDIA. K has been known as the better one overall, but there is some small trade-offs with it compared to J, although people usually use this preset. Now, the core of DLSS 4 enhancements has been fully enabled. You don't need the NVIDIA app anymore. And they have also synchronized the Reflex 2 with DLSS 4, and that is setting the framework for frame warp. Now, this one hasn't been enabled with the finals yet. I don't believe any game has utilized it, and they originally even teased frame warp with the finals. So I do believe it's probably going to be one of the first, if not the first game to get it. The update there is essentially isn't live yet, as I said. It's still coming soon. Again, originally it was going to be exclusive to the RTX 50 series, but they do also mention that older RTX cards will be added via a later update or a later driver update. Again, that one is on NVIDIA, not the finals or Embark. They have shown some live demos with this. Essentially, it will reduce latency up to 75%, which is pretty insane there. So basically cutting all the latency gained from frame gen. Currently, I use frame gen with the finals. I get 200 FPS with full ray tracing and everything enabled to epic. I would suggest you at least try it out with DLSS 4. I cannot notice the difference. So definitely some decent upgrades here, sharper visuals, smoother gameplay, better performance, and the lower latency with Reflex 2, and also the move to preset K, which will fine-tune the balance to further optimize. Moving on here from the graphics and performance section, and with this update there was some Twitch drops, and they are leaning into the Chuck the Ball, or Chuck the Healing Emitter. They do have a Chuck Healing Emitter skin, the Chuck name tag sticker, and even a Chuck weapon charm. So pretty cool there, those are earnable now. On the storefront, we did get a bunch of new cosmetics. Or we actually did get a brand new bundle pack, the Lotus Reaper set, that currently costs $20 or $19.99. And you get a full outfit set with a bunch of customizations here and 2,400 multi-bucks. Usually these do have some video graphics tied with them, and there is actually one via the store page. It normally pops up, sometimes it can change from set to set, but the Lotus Reaper is on there, hoping they upload this one to YouTube as well. We did, however, get a normal store update video. That includes some additional cosmetics here like the Watch You Watch. It just has a bunch of watches tied to it. We have the Rewind Havoc pack, the Rise as One J-Pad, as well as the Sensor Veil Bomber. 3 additional ones here, the Impact Unit 2000, which is a helmet piece kind of pertaining to the new mode, the Voice Parlay, which you can hear that one here, and you can apply in the voice tab.
Got a hit!
Then last but not least, we have the System Scrub, which is a new emote. Now there actually was some security and anti-cheat updates here. There was a critical exploit that was patched. This was with the minigun, or something with the minigun, and essentially people could server crash with an exploit. Abusers were permanently banned, and players that were impacted and ranked are getting their RS refunded. So really good on them keeping track of this. This also does apply to an anti-cheat tech upgrade. These are things that I've been talking about. Now this one here has been controversial for pretty much the wrong reasons. People have been talking about the kernel level anti-cheat or not wanting that. If you guys didn't know, EAC has always been kernel level, at least recently. So pretty much if you played any other game recently, Fortnite, Elden Ring even, they all use EAC, and that has been kernel level. The only one that I've noticed that's been super intrusive and actually does use your internet, even when you aren't playing it, is Valorant. At least from what I've seen, people have detected some weird stuff with that game. Other than that, though, EAC and these other games, they completely shut off as soon as you close the game. Regardless of that, though, there is a new anti-cheat layer that has been happening behind the scenes. This one is using a bit of AI there to catch some hardware cheats. They mention that no personal data is collected, it only looks at the processes touching the game. Really cool here, Steam Deck and the Proton Experimental are still supported unofficially, where native Linux, it basically is not planned to be updated there. Linux has a bit of an issue with kernel level anti-cheats, basically doesn't work in any game. So surprising that the Steam Deck does work, and really cool that it does. Jumping over here quickly, I do want to go over the balance changes. People have been putting out videos for this already, so I'm assuming most of you are here not for exactly the balance changes, but I will go over those briefly. Of course, we had the melee rework, so there is a ton of reworks here. This applies to literally all melees. The sword did get some major buffs, but it does have new movement tech limits. The Riot Shield and Sledgehammer do have wider hit sweeps, you'll see that here. Also, the dagger, the dual blades, and the spear also have more reliable animations and fixes. So you can see all those changes across the board here, how those are playing out for each of those. And they do feel a bit better at range. Again, obviously these are coinciding with the new Super Cash Ball mode. There was some additional ones here like weapons and gadgets with Chaos 23 getting better hit scan. The defib has a slower charge from 0.8 to 1 second. If somebody gets nullified with the nullifier, the bullets will not pass through. And healing tools will be team colored for the VFX. So you'll see those in blue or red now. There was some loadout reworks, but these were default loadout reworks. So essentially, if it's your first time jumping into the finals, dash will now be replaced grapple. So first time players will have that instead, where explosive mine in and glitch out for medium. And the M60 gets a sight upgrade. Again, these are just for the default loadouts there. On top of this update, there was some quality of life changes and polish. The UI got some improved player card renderings and fixed quick play points. Gamepad navigation or controller navigation has smoother in the menus and customizations. And the cosmetics are now displayed properly. With the controller there, they actually did get a text chat upgrade that will now open correctly on controller. There was also some various map fixes with Monaco, Kyoto, Skyway Stadium, Horizon, and Las Vegas. I'm pretty sure every time they do some map fixes, Kyoto is going to be in that list. There's also some miscellaneous things like better animations with the CL40, cosmetic clipping issues. We already went over the DLSS update and upgrade. and the fireworks VFX on the RPG is now more visible. That should cover it for the mid-season update with version 7.6. Last up here, of course, we do have those community mentionables from my community. One, I'm going to be doing some new giveaways on my Discord, so check that out under the giveaways page. And then last up here, of course, we do have those mentionables from my star models page. The first one here comes from Jay Natter, who shows off the updated Space Monkey outfit with some new banana Glocks. This one definitely rocks it. Again, another one of these that should be on the store page. Next up here, we have Radical with what he's calling the Crit Hunter or a Bounty Hunter. Pretty decent cosmetic here, even able to utilize that NG mode chest piece. Third up here, we have one from Neon Computer, and this one is the OG character from the Portal games, and essentially your default character customizations. Definitely works there, and a really good one. Next up here, we have one from Harami. Again, hoping I'm saying that one right. They're showing off a 0G bundle, which is a Lonely Tunes, or what they're calling Lonely Tunes. Some pretty decent graphical work there. Last up here is Aaron C64, showing off his heavy hitter build, utilizing some Osboost cosmetics and that tiger mask. Overall, that's about covered for today's video. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, and until the next one. Deuce!